These aren't your average pocket change, these are the top 5 ultra-rare Washington quarters worth hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. From legendary mint errors to shocking historical strikes, stay tuned to discover the hidden treasure that might be sitting right in your hands. The 1965 Washington quarter came at a time of major transformation in U.S. coinage history. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But rising silver prices led to widespread coin hoarding across the country. People were pulling silver coins out of circulation faster than the mint could replace them. Faced with a national coin shortage, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which authorized the U.S. Mint to eliminate silver from dimes and quarters. Starting that year, the mint switched to a clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between 2 layers of copper-nickel alloy. The result? A brand new quarter weighing 5.67 grams with no silver content, but a design that looked almost exactly the same as its silver predecessors. Here's the twist, with more than 1.8 billion quarters minted in 1965, most people thought they were common and worthless. But buried among them are extremely rare transitional errors that collectors are willing to pay tens, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Now let's talk about the Holy Grail, the 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet. As the U.S. Mint transitioned from silver to clad, some silver planchets meant for 1964 quarters accidentally made their way into 1965 coin presses. The result? A tiny number of 1965 dated quarters were struck on 90% silver planchets, a major minting blunder that has become one of the most sought-after error coins in U.S. history. Only a handful of these coins have been confirmed to exist, which makes them ultra-rare, mysterious, and incredibly valuable. So how do you know if you have a regular 1965 quarter, or a 6-figure jackpot? Let's break it down. White heavy checkmark weight check. Clad 1965 quarter equals 5.67 grams. Silver 1965 quarter equals 6.25 grams. If you have a scale and your quarter is heavier than 5.7 grams, you may have struck silver. White heavy checkmark edge test. Look at the edge of your quarter. A silver quarter has a solid, shiny edge, while clad coins show a distinct copper stripe in the middle. White heavy checkmark sound test. Drop it gently on a hard surface, silver coins ring like a bell, while clad coins make a dull thunk. White heavy checkmark certification is key. If you think you've got one, send it to PCGS or NGC, the top coin grading services, to confirm its authenticity. A genuine 1965 silver quarter in top condition can command sky-high auction prices. Let's talk money, the kind that turns 25 cents into a fortune. Gemstone in 2014, a 1965 silver quarter graded MS-67 sold for an astounding $12,500. Another high-grade example sold privately for over $35,000. Gemstone, but get this, a pristine silver 1965 quarter, discovered in recent years and graded MS-68 by PCGS, has been valued by collectors and dealers at over $100,000. Gemstone, even in lower grades like $50 Australian dollars or XF, these error coins can fetch $5,000 to $15,000 depending on market demand. That means a single coin in your pocket change, or forgotten in a shoebox, could pay for a car, a home renovation, or even an entire year of college. Here's something else to know, none of the 1965 quarters have a mint mark. That's because the mint removed mint marks from all U.S. coins from 1965 to 1967 to discourage coin hoarding during the silver transition. So whether your coin came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it will look exactly the same, with no identifying mint mark. That means you'll need to rely on weight, appearance, and professional certification to separate a rare gem from a common coin. Numismatics is exploding right now, and error coins like the 1965 silver quarter are in higher demand than ever before. Why? Silver stackers, people are collecting precious metal coins for investment. New collectors, Social media and YouTube channels like yours are bringing in thousands of new collectors. Auction houses. Coins are selling at major auctions like Heritage and Stack's Bowers with incredible results. Low survival rate. These silver errors were quickly removed from circulation or melted down, making survivors extremely rare. And remember, many 1965 silver planchet quarters are still undiscovered. That's why checking your old coins is more important now than ever. In 1967, the U.S. Mint produced over 1.5 billion Washington quarters at Philadelphia, with no mint mark during the 1965 to 1967 no mint mark period. GreatCollections.com. That year also saw the introduction of the Special Mint Set, limited coins for collectors with a satin finish, making them subtly different. CoinValueChecker.com. While most 1967 quarters are common today, a few carry rare mint errors, including wrong planchets, double dies, off-centers, clipped planchets, and missing clad layers. Such errors can multiply a quarter's value exponentially. Coin-Identifier.com. Here are the top error types you should watch for. 1. Struck on nickel planchet. Some 1967 quarters were accidentally struck on a nickel, 5 cents, planchet, 5 grams. Certified examples in MS-61 have sold for $400 to $550 plus, eBay.com. 2. Struck on copper, cent, planchet. Even rarer, quarters struck on copper planchets, making up about half the diameter. These sell for $130 to $160 in circulated condition. CoinValueChecker.com. Mint state can fetch $600 to $1,188. CoinWeek.com. Free, double die obverse, DDO. Not common, but when it occurs with visible doubling around letters or date, values rise to $50 to $200 plus, sometimes even $500 plus. 4. Off-center strike. When part of the design is missing due to off-center striking, these coins are worth $100 to $300 plus, bullionsharks.com. 5. Clipped planchet errors. Straight or curved clips show missing edge segments. Market prices fall between $50 to $150 plus, bullionsharks.com. 6. Missing clad layer/obverse missing clad. Certain 1967 examples lack the standard nickel layer. A PCGS MS-62 coin recently sold for $200, eBay.com. Let's review actual auction results. Nickel planchet quarter, MS-61, NGC, sold for $550, eBay.com. Copper off planchet quarter fetched $600 to $1,188 in auction. Double die quarters typically fetch $50 to $200 plus, but rare examples can exceed $600, bullionsharks.com. Off-center issues commonly sell for $100 to $300 plus, bullionsharks.com. Clipped planchets and missing clad and MS grades sell for $50 to $200 plus, bullionsharks.com. Top grade or combination error coins may fetch well over $5,000 depending on demand and grade. Here's your quick checklist. Weigh your coin, 5.67 G equals normal, 5 G equals nickel, 2.5 G equals cent. Look at edge, does it lack reading or copper stripe? Examine letters, date, in God we trust, for doubling. Use a loupe to inspect for off-center, clipped edges, or missing layers. Sharp strike plus grade means more value, use PCGS/NGC for grading. Why these old quarters are suddenly worth serious money. Error rarity, few survive decades. Rising collector base, new numismatists hungry for modern treasures. Online auction visibility, sales in the hundreds drive new interest. Grading premiums, certified coins can sell for 5 times, 10 times privately. If you have a rare error 1967 coin in mint state, it may be one of the most valuable modern quarters ever discovered. The Washington quarter has been a cornerstone of American coinage since 1932, originally designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1979, the quarter had long been made from a copper-nickel clad composition, a change that started in 1965 when the mint moved away from 90% silver. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced over 800 million quarters across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. At first glance, they might seem ordinary. But don't be fooled, because within this year's production lies ultra-rare errors and varieties that are the stuff of numismatic legend. Let's dive into the top rare types that make the 1979 Washington quarter one of the most exciting, and valuable, modern quarters to search for. We start with the 1979 S-proof quarter, struck at the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are made with special dies and polished blanks, giving them that sharp mirror-like finish. But in 1979, something unusual happened. There are two distinct mintmark types for the 1979 S quarter. Type 1, filled S, the S mintmark appears blobby and less defined. Type 2, clear S, the S mintmark is sharp, clean, and much rarer. The Type 2 Clear S variety was only produced later in the year and in far fewer quantities. It's highly sought after and sells for gemstone $500 to $1,000 plus in PR 69 DCAM condition. Gemstone over $2,000 in PR 70 DCAM, perfect condition. Collectors hunt tirelessly for the Clear S, and its rarity continues to grow. If you have proof sets from 1979, check that mintmark closely. You could be sitting on a four-figure payday. Now let's get into the minting mistakes, where the real money lies. White heavy checkmark off-center strike errors. A 1979 quarter struck off-center by 15% to 50% can command $300 to $2,000, depending on how much of the design is visible and whether the date is intact. White heavy checkmark double die obverse, DDO. Although rare for 1979 quarters, a strong DDO, especially one where, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," is doubled, can fetch $1,000 to $5,000 plus in high grades. White heavy checkmark struck on wrong planchet errors. Now here's where it gets wild. Some 1979 quarters were struck on planchets meant for other denominations. A quarter struck on a nickel planchet can bring $5,000 to $10,000. One struck on a cent planchet, copper-colored, smaller, might hit $15,000 or more. The Holy Grail. A quarter struck on a foreign coin planchet, which could skyrocket to $20,000 to $50,000 plus. These errors are incredibly rare, but they do surface. Collectors and dealers pay top dollar, especially when certified by PCGS or NGC. So how do you know if you have a rare 1979 quarter? Here's your checklist. Magnifying glass tilted right 1. Check the mintmark. Look under the date on the obverse, head side. If it has an S, it's a proof. Look carefully, is it a clear S or filled S? Magnifying glass tilted right 2. Examine the strike. Does the coin appear off-center, double-struck, or have letters that look blurry or layered? That could be a valuable error. Magnifying glass tilted right 3. Weight test. A normal 1979 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. If it's significantly off, e.g. 4.9 g or 6.3 g, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet. Magnifying glass tilted right 4. Color and texture. If your quarter looks unusually shiny, golden, or has a weird surface, have it checked. Some rare errors come from improperly annealed planchets or experimental strikes. Let's talk dollars, the kind that makes your jaw drop. Moneybag in 1979, S Clear S quarter graded PR 70 DCAM sold for $2,300. Moneybag in 1979 quarter struck on a 1-cent planchet sold for $14,100. Moneybag a spectacular double denomination error, quarter struck over a 1979 dime, sold for a record $41,125. Moneybag and get this, one of the rarest 1979 off-metal errors, authenticated by PCGS, is currently valued at over $100,000 due to its extreme rarity and historical significance. That means your ordinary-looking 1979 quarter could secretly be a six-figure fortune waiting to be discovered. There are 3 reasons why 1979 Washington quarters, especially rare ones, are skyrocketing in value. More collectors. The coin collecting world is growing fast, with thousands of new hobbyists entering the market every year. Limited surviving errors. Rare mint errors from 1979 are incredibly hard to find in the wild, especially in uncirculated condition. Auction momentum. Big auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have sold 1979 era quarters for 5-figure prices, driving interest and investment. Simply put, the demand is growing, but the supply of ultra-rare 1979 quarters is nearly gone. The 1978 Washington quarter was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and proof-only San Francisco, S, which produced just over 3 million proofs. Rarest.org, theengineeringinfo.com, ve.ebay.com, the-sun.com, en.wikipedia.org. These copper-nickel coins replaced the silver versions made before 1965, carrying on a legacy that began in 1932 with John Flanagan iconic design, antiquesknowhow.com. Over 800 million quarters were minted in 1978, making them seem ordinary, but not all escaped the mint unscathed. Today, rare era coins from this year are extremely valuable, and we're about to expose the major ones. Even a modern quarter can hide serious treasure. Here are the top errors that collectors pay big money for. 1. Off-center strikes. When the blank isn't aligned under the die, up to 50% misalignment can occur. A 50% off-center 1978 quarter with a visible date can fetch $250 or more. Minor errors, 15%, often sell for $20 to $50. CoinValueChecker.com, BizarreFancies.com. 2. Double struck/rotated double struck. When a coin gets struck twice, sometimes rotated between strikes, it creates a ghostly duplicate image. These dramatic errors can be worth $150 to $300, even up to $300 plus, BizarreFancies.com. 3. Wrong planchet errors. Some 1978 quarters were accidentally struck on incorrect planchets. Struck on a cent planchet, $600 plus, errorcoins.org, theengineeringinfo.com. On a dime planchet, $3.75, theengineeringinfo.com. On a nickel planchet, $1.80. 4. Broad strike errors. When a coin escapes the collar during striking, it spreads out, resulting in a broad, unrimmed coin. These can sell for $30 to $100 plus, historytools.org. 5. Improperly annealed or clad errors. Some blanks weren't heated properly, or lost their outer metal layer. These have unusual toning and a copper-orange glow, with values around $50 to $150, bizarrefancies.com. Let's dive into actual sales to see what people are paying. A 1978 quarter on a cent planchet, certified MS-64, sold for $1,188 recently, kz.ebay.com. A dramatic rotated double-struck error fetched $785 via eBay, pa.ebay.com. A nickel planchet strike sold for approximately $365. Off-center and double-struck combos have reached $293 plus, and some broad strike/planchet errors commonly go for $95 to $150, CoinValueChecker.com. Top tip: coins with multiple errors, especially under grading, can double or triple those prices. How do you spot these rare finds? Use a 10 times loop to check alignment and doubled images. Weigh suspected errors. Cent planchets weigh about 2.5 g, nickels 5 g, dimes 2.3 g versus a normal 5.67 g quarter. Check edge. Broad strikes lack reading. Look at color. Odd copper shows clang, while annealing errors glow orange. Double errors like rotated double strikes are often obvious to the naked eye. If something stands out, grade it with PCGS or NGC to authenticate and maximize value. Why are modern quarters suddenly commanding serious money? Rarity and survivorship, error coins are naturally rare, and most don't survive. New collector interest, especially from Gen Z and millennials. Auction buzz, eBay sales of hundreds to thousands drive investor attention. Scarcity of high-grade errors, collectors want the best, and graded pieces bring premium prices. That means your 1978 errors could be the next big discovery.